Welcome to the Canadian virtual meeting for the International Institute of Genealogical Studies, found at genealogicalstudies.com. I'm Cheryl Levy, and today we're going to explore some settlers that I really got to know, and I love their story. Okay. So we do the Canadian Records virtual meeting every month. So check on the calendar. And if you miss one, go back and see if the recording is there because we're putting the recordings up on the same, in the same box that the link was for attending live. And you can view past recordings there. But if you're watching this on YouTube, it's because we felt that this would be of interest to more people than just our students. And even though the virtual meetings is a student benefit, we want to share some of those videos with you. So be sure and check out our YouTube channel. Okay, so for the Canadian Records Certificate at the Institute, in order to get the PLCGS certificate, it is 40 courses, and there are Canadian courses. Just a sec. Okay, there's 16 compulsory Canadian courses, and this is just a list of those courses and the suggested order to take them because some of them build on previous ones. We give you the basics and then we start building out from there. And so there's 4 basic Canadian compulsory courses, 5 intermediate, and 7 advanced, making 16. But I said there was 40, right? And so there's another 15 in that 40 that is the methodology courses. And this is the foundation of all of our certificate programs. And you really need to get a good foundation and then add your country courses. And still, that's only 31 courses. And that's because then, let's go back here, then you will get 9 electives. And so it's the 16 Canadian compulsories, the 15 methodology that are compulsory for all our certificate programs. You can take individual courses as well. But this is for the certificates to get the 40 courses for your PLCGS. And what does PLCGS stand for? It's the Professional Learning Certificate of Genealogical Studies, and that is the postnominals of the graduates of the Institute. Okay, so one of the courses that we have, and it's in the advanced level, is immigration records. And a lot of immigrants came to Canada, and there's a lot in this section. And so in module 3 of the immigration records course, there is a section on Peter Robinson. And when I was a student, that was all very interesting, but I got a particular interest in Peter Robinson because after I graduated, one of my clients was a descendant of the Peter Robinson settlers. And so I really studied into more about this group of settlers. And I've really come to love his story and this particular group of immigrants. Okay, and so the Peter Robinson settlers, they were Irish, and when you start and you're looking at a particular group, these are the Peter Robinson settlers. Where do you start? And so you educate yourself. You read everything you can about them. You find out why they came, when they came, what happened once they got here, what happened to the descendants. You're going to educate yourself into what was this group of settlers and what did they do. And you also are going to want to go back and find out where they came from. And so these particular settlers came from Ireland. And so you're going to want to educate yourself and then find out more about where they came from, because they didn't just come here, start a new life from scratch. They brought with them their culture, they brought with them their beliefs, and they came as a group. And so a lot of them would be family, a lot of them would be neighbors. They would be used to living in Ireland and so they had a starting point to bond together and create community. Okay, so first off, Peter Robinson, who was he? And so he is an interesting person. He was the son of a loyalist. And if you don't know what a loyalist is, they were the people in the colonies who sided with the British during the American Revolution. And so they were loyal to the king and to the British cause. So they lost that war, as we all know. And so they were not able to stay, most of them, and they had to leave. And so they were evacuated out or they came as refugees. And then the British recognized them as a special group, and they're called the United Empire Loyalists because of their loyalty to the crown. And we have a course on that. And we also have a virtual meeting that now is every third month. And the next one of the Loyalist virtual meetings will be in August, because we just had one in May. And so if you are a student, you can go back to the calendar and find that one and watch it. But our next Loyalist virtual meeting will be in August. And so Peter Robinson was a son of Christopher Robinson, and he was a lieutenant, and they were from Virginia, and they served under John Graves Simcoe, and they settled in New Brunswick. So he is born in New Brunswick. But then they moved to Quebec. And another brother, John, was born in Quebec. And then they moved to Kingston. And another brother, William, was born in Kingston. And then they moved to York. And York is the old name for Toronto in Ontario. And so that is where they moved. But then their father died the same year that they arrived. But their mom remarried to a tavern keeper, and he had a fur trade. He had a business that went with the fur trade, and then Peter trained under his stepdad and was part of that. So he really knew the back end of the trails, the land. He really knew what was going on. And so this really plays into him bringing the settlers over. In the War of 1812, which was between the British and the Americans, he raised a rifle company, mainly of the woodsmen who were used to going through the trails. And he served under Major General Isaac Brock, and he was part of the War of 1812 and a veteran. And he was even present at York when it was surrendered to the Americans in 1813. So he saw battles in the War of 1812. So after the War of 1812, then he became a politician. His brother and himself formed a fur trading company. And in 1817, he was elected to the Legislative Assembly in Ontario, but it was Upper Canada at that time. And his brother went and was in politics as well. And he went to London because his brother John was the Attorney General of Upper Canada. And so they went together to London because they wanted to bring settlers to Upper Canada, to the backwoods where he was used to going and conducting his fur trade business. And so they came up with a scheme. And what is a scheme? A scheme is a plan. Simple. So they have an immigration scheme, and the British did a lot of different immigration schemes, and very successful because once you are in a country or new lands, you need to bring in settlers, and so they had several immigration schemes. Now, what is immigration and emigration? So it depends on where you are. So this is how I remember it. The emigration is when they are exiting the country that they're from, and the immigration with an I is when they're coming into the country where they're going to settle. So that's the difference between emigration and immigration. Just a little side tip there. Okay, so the British are trying to send out settlers into the areas that are in Canada. And so they want to send people to Canada. And they are also at the same time having trouble with the Irish and trying to take care of the poor Irish in Ireland. And what are they going to do to help these people? And so they do come up with a plan to send Irish to Upper Canada. And I'm going to get more into their story after I finish Peter. He had very successful settlements, two of them. He was the founder of Peterborough. That's why it's named Peterborough after him, because of all the help that he gave them. But then he he it was so expensive that they decided that they didn't want to spend so much money on the settlements. And so he ended up resigning over this from the legislature. He said, you can't bring immigrants into Canada and not support them to the degree that he did. And so um, he left in protest, and because he wanted more reforms, and he ends up resigning. But then he died just 2 years later after he resigned at the age of 53. But he is the person who really, really made this particular immigration scheme successful. And so what they did is they went to Ireland, and you had to qualify to come. And so they put out these posters, and it was to a specific group. It was just to the poor. It wasn't to wealthy people. This was a scheme that they are bringing to help these people that just are not doing well in Ireland. And so they came mostly from the County Cork, and they gathered them up, and he brought over immigrants to Canada. How did they come? They came on ships. Now, what we think of an ocean voyage on a ship is not the same as what they did. And I love this picture because it was taken by a friend in Halifax during the tall ships there in 2017 now. And so he got this beautiful shot of the old tall ship with a new modern ship coming in. And so, what we would think of traveling now on a cruise ship across the ocean or an ocean liner, look at the difference between the two. Imagine uh, being on this ship and going across the ocean into who knows what. They probably had all kinds of ideas of what was going to be there when they got there, but I am sure that they had things that they encountered that they weren't prepared for, or was beyond what they thought would happen. But so what he did is in 1823, he brought over two ships. the Hebe and the Stakesby. And he brought 568 people that was worked out to 307 families. And these families settled in the Ottawa Valley. They were poor Irish, they were Roman Catholic, and you had to be not over 45 years old, and they each received 70 acres. And he really supported them when they come. He made sure that they had everything that they needed, and it was very successful. And so, because it was so successful, they brought him back and they're going to do it again. But this time, when they did it, he put out his poster, and when he got all of the applications back, there were 50,000 people who applied to go. So, how do you take 50,000 people and narrow it down to 2,000, which is what he was going to bring? And so he did narrow it down, but it looks like he did add a few extra because there was 2024. And this time he brings 9 ships over in 1825. And so they were the Fortitude, Resolution, Albion, Brunswick, Star, Amity, Regulus, Elizabeth, and John Barry. Those are the 9 ships that were hired to bring over these immigrants, Irish immigrants, to Upper Canada. So they sailed from Cobb Harbor in Cork, and then they arrived in Quebec by the end of June. And you can see they left the 10th, 11th, 13th, 16th, 18th, 25th. They were loading up and bringing these people over. What's really cool is that ship surgeon diaries have survived. And so we can get a glimpse into what was happening on board when they were coming. And there was overcrowding. And because of that, some of them got what's called ship's fever, and there were several deaths during the voyage. It just was so many people crammed into these ships, and close quarters. I mean, they didn't have flushing toilets or showers and all of those things that we would expect. It was very difficult. And we have this glimpse into through the surgeons' diaries into what they experienced on board from the surgeon's point of view. And so you can actually access these on a website called the Ship's List. And when I originally studied into them, it was easy. I went to the website and looked at all the different, they have the passenger list, they have the diaries and what happened, beautiful on this Ship's List website. But what happened this year when I went, I got this. And so the website is now gone. So that means that all the information, I can't access it with the URL that I had saved. And so I'm going to take a little detour here and tell you what to do when your URLs don't work when you're trying to find something. So when you have a URL that doesn't work, and this one I did, and I really wanted to get back to these ship's diaries, you take it and you put it into the Wayback Machine. And this is on archive.org. It's the Internet Archive website, and they archive web pages from the internet. Very cool. And so you can go, if they have taken a snapshot of that web page, you can go back and find it and find out what was there. And so we teach you to make citations for where you found your information, and also to add the date that you accessed that website. And that is so important, because when you go here and you put in your link that's not working, And this was the link. Then you go and you find when you accessed it. So in this one, I accessed it in 2011, and I just chose, it'll give you a calendar. I chose this date, and it gives you like a little graph for how many times they took pictures of that web page. And then they will give you another a link. And if you notice, the bottom part is the link that didn't work, and the top part is the new link. So when you use that link, it automatically will take you to that archived page, and you can then find all of the information that you found before that's not active right now. And there's different reasons why a website's not active. Maybe the person died who made it. Maybe they just aren't going to put the money into keeping it going. And so this is a place to go and find older web pages. So when I did that, up it comes. And so if you see down here, it had the Peter Robinson report of 1827. So I went there first, and it gives you a beautiful chart of how many children went, women, men, how many people, where they settled, even how many died at sea. So this is died at sea, and in Canada, 51 men, 18 women, 76 children died coming over, and that was 145 people. So that was a lot. But he had 2024 left Cork, and there were 69 that were born at 15 at sea and 54 once they're in Canada, and then there were a few that joined them for 2108 when they settled in Peterborough and the surrounding townships. And so it gives, you can read these reports. It just, he was so detailed. He took care of them. He went back. He stayed with them for like 3 years, and even got sick when he was there, and still stayed there, made sure they were settled, made sure that they were getting their crops in, and making sure everything was good for them. Now, I told you about the surgeon diaries, and so they are on the bottom link. And so if you go there, um, it takes you to pages in the National Archives, the TNA, for London. And what happened again? Page not found, because these were transcriptions that were made quite a few years ago. Websites change. And so how am I going to get to these surgeon reports, these surgeon diaries, is I still want to get to them. And so if you look down farther on the page, you'll see it has a link right on the page. See an archived version of this page. And so I clicked at that one, clicked on that link, and it brought me to a page that talked about the surgeons at sea. And then I had the microfilm numbers of which, sorry, not the microfilm, but these are PDFs. And so in the index, I found them for the ships, and I clicked on them. And I'm just going to give you a snippet of what it is. So these are digitized records of the actual diaries they wrote in. And I love this, that John Barry was a convict ship, because they were sending them to Australia at that time, and they crossed it out and wrote immigrant because they were sending immigrants to Canada on this ship instead. But it also gives you an idea that the conditions on that ship was probably not very luxurious. But I love this one. This is the surgeon on the John Barry, and he says that he's accompanying them to their final destination, traveling in riverboats and steamers up the river in Canada. And the immigrants were extremely poor families who suffered illness because of the food on board was too rich for them. Many of the children died on the way. There was a lot of prejudice against the Irish expressed in the journals Among the cases featured was one describing the illness of various members of the Regan family, where both parents died, but the three children recovered. And so you got to think about these families going over. If the both parents died, what's going to happen to those children? And so they would have been taken in by other people. Maybe they would be indentured servants. Maybe they would be the same age as their own children, so they would just take them in and have them once they got to Canada. And so it was not an easy journey, and it was not easy settling in Upper Canada at that time. So there's pages and pages of their journals. They're all there. They're all microfilmed, and you can read them online, which is awesome if you find that you do have an ancestor on one of the ships, and go in and see if they're mentioned in the diaries. Another one was the Elizabeth, and this was describing someone who was 12, whose symptoms included disease, hurt, pain in the bottom of her belly, that was increased on pressure. So when he pressed on it, her pain was increased. Her abdomen was hard and swollen. She picks her nose. She starts in her sleep. Her bowels are constipated. Her tongue is foul. Her pulse is quick. Her skin is hot. And she has great thirst. She was first put on the sick list on the 15th of June. Her mother brought the surgeon can't even say that. It was a worm that was 87 inches long, which the child had vomited up. Yuck. Later, she had another motion, and two more worms were found. One was 13 inches and one was 7 inches. So you're going to find the bare bones facts in these diaries, and they're not edited for content. It's straight the surgeon, what he is dealing with these children and adults on the ship. And I thought that one was quite funny. And so just an example of what they were dealing with when they came across. And so this year, if you noticed 1825, this year is the 200th anniversary of the Peter Robinson settlers coming to the Peterborough area. And they are having a big bicentennial. I had the privilege of speaking at one of their events on the background of the Peter Robinson settlers coming to Upper Canada. And they have created this wonderful website called 9ships1825.com. Go there if you have any connection to the Peter Robinson settlers, and they are gathering a wealth of information on that website. And so I refer you to there to find out everything that they are finding. They even have a map of where the settlers, they've identified the lots that they got, and are tracking them and tracking any of the descendants that they can. And they have a lot of events coming up this summer, especially in August, which would be the actual anniversary of them all arriving in the Peterborough area to set up for the winter, before the winter, and get established. And so it's a really good resource to follow up on the story. Another thing that you could do is write up the life of your ancestor. So if you do have an ancestor who was a Peter Robinson settler, you definitely want to write out their experience, glean what you can from records, even if it doesn't mention their name. If they were on that ship, they saw what was happening, they experienced it. And so it's part of their life story. And so this slide is to remind you, we do have a course called Life of Our Ancestors that takes you through assignments that are going to ask questions and help you to write out the story of your ancestor. Okay. Now, to switch back to Canadian records, there was just a webinar on yesterday, which is unfortunate I couldn't tell you beforehand because it's already happened, but it was a webinar that was on the Library and Archives of Canada website. She gave a very good presentation of how to find records and what they have in their collections. It was done through the Allen County Public Library. So check out their YouTube channel and find the recording. It may be a couple days before the recording is up there, but make sure to go back, make a note, and go back to the Allen County Public Library website, YouTube channel, and watch that. I recommend that to help you with the Library and Archives Canada website. Okay, and speaking of YouTube, check out our YouTube channel. We're adding videos to it. We're trying to get a good collection on a lot of different topics that we think may be of interest to our students, but also the public at large and other researchers of what we're doing at the school and what courses that we're offering to help you in your research. And so if you go to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. Push the subscribe button, and you'll get notifications when we're adding new videos. And then we would like to get your feedback. Leave a comment. Did you enjoy that? Did you want to find out more about it? Leave us some feedback for the videos that we are putting on our YouTube channel and sharing with you. Okay, one of the most recent ones that we have just added is a presentation that was done for our students on Zotero. And we will be having more videos. She's going to come back and do some more presentations, Donna Cox-Baker. And so check back and learn about Zotero for genealogists. Also, what I found out is that now you can listen to some of our videos on podcasts. And so that is a great way to listen as you're driving or walking, that you can listen rather than watch the presentations. Okay, and so the next Canadian Records virtual meeting through the Institute will be on June the 18th. And as I said, it's every month. And so check on the calendar and see when the next one will be. And the next one will be done by Drew. And I'm sure that he will bring an interesting topic to you. For our students, be sure to check on our Facebook group. And there will be, at the beginning of every month, Kim is preparing it right now, there's a list of all the virtual meetings that will be given for our students during June. And so that will be coming out very shortly. Okay, this screen is just links to our various websites and platforms. So again, we're the International Institute of Genealogical Studies, found at genealogicalstudies.com. There's a menu at the top to click for courses and certificates and find what you're looking for to help you in your research. We also have a store. You can buy printed material if you would rather. Every course comes with a PDF that you can download, but if you like a printed copy, they're not really that expensive to have. I like the paper copy because I like to make notes as I'm reading and highlight things and put sticky notes in them. And so I do have the printed copies, but we also have t-shirts. So if you are a student or a graduate and you want a t-shirt, be sure to check out the genealogystore.com and get your t-shirts. We also have a blog with what's happening, announcements for new courses. One of our newest courses is British military history is one of our new courses where we've combined the England, the UK, Ireland, and the Scottish, the English, and the Irish military courses. We've combined those now into one course covering all of it because the British military drew from all of them, drew from the Irish, the Scottish, and the English. And so we've put them all together now into one course. So if you want to check that one out, we have a Facebook page, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. And don't forget about Genealogy Social. That used to be Genealogy Wise. There's a lot of groups on there, family groups, but also topic groups that you could join and share information. So I thank you for being with us today, and I hope that you will join us again. I hope that I've sparked your interest to look in other settlement groups that came. They're a little bit different than those who came individually, but the bonus is if they came as a group, there's probably been some research, and you may find information on that particular group that you may not be able to find for an individual. And so thank you, and join us next time. And this has been Cheryl Levy from the International Institute of Genealogical Studies at genealogicalstudies.com.